Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Jock Talk. Matt here with Brock, and you know this guy, Jake Sussek, our MMA expert. Welcome back, Jake. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, great. Matt, you doing good?
Great as always.
Freshly
That's
shaved
right.
head.
Yeah. I like to feel the snow melt on it.
Oh yeah, it's 72 here in North Carolina. Not the same up in Wisconsin, I hear.
Real men like the snow, Brock.
That's right, the frozen tundra.
I like the snow. I just don't like living in the snow. I don't like driving in the snow either. But yeah, that's all here nor there. So, as you know, we're usually talking about the Packers. We're not getting into that quite yet.
Nah.
Especially after last Sunday. But we will in a future episode. Make sure you like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, follow us there. We put out shows just about every week, sometimes twice a week. Your luck, twice this week because we have Jake Sussek here, like we said, talking MMA. Jake. So we had a lot of fights that we talked about in our previous show, and they went on. Some surprising, some not so surprising. Matt, kick us off with the first one.
All right, Brock. Or excuse me, jeez. All right, Jake. Fight Night 178. We had Colby. I'm assuming his nickname is the Cheese Covington, and Tyrone Woodley. You know, Tyrone Woodley. He's 38 already, which I didn't realize. 3 straight losses. Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, and then obviously to Colby Covington. So what's next for Tyrone Woodley? Like I said, he's getting old. He's lost 3 straight fights. He's still got, kind of that name value around UFC. So what do you think's next for T-Dog, the chosen one?
I think Tyrone Woodley needs to end his rap career and focus more on MMA if he really wants to turn things around and make a late career push for the title. As for a fight, I don't know. I think you got to give him kind of a newcomer. You have to give him a newcomer so he can find his bearings again. Because Matt and Brock, I don't know if you guys actually watched the fight versus Colby, but Tyrone has done this thing the last 3 fights where he puts his back up against the fence, and it's like he's just waiting for his opportunity to throw his right hand, but then he never throws it. So he's just like waiting, and then pretty soon the 5th round is over and he's lost.
Yeah. Like he's not being aggressive like the Tyrone Woodley of old. Like Matt said, he's 38. Is he just sitting waiting for a punch to come and like only doing the counters, or what is he doing? Like this is it's crazy to see, especially coming from the guy that has the knockout power like him. So jumping to the next one, obviously another heavyweight, Miocic and Cormier, the third one. Did it live up to the hype for you? And where do the fighters go from here? And how do they rank all time now? Because obviously Stipe, great title defenses, one of the, if not greatest in that division, but Cormier, again, one of the all-time greats.
I think that it was very surprising to me. I really thought it would be kind of a more back and forth fight all the way through, but I don't know if you actually watched. It's kind of ironic because DC is known for accidentally eye poking people, but Stipe went like knuckle deep on DC's eye.
He did.
It was really gross, and DC was compromised after that. So, taking nothing away from Stipe, he came with a great game plan, and you could tell he actually really wanted to be in there and wanted to win that. Just the way he was flowing. That really surprised me. I thought DC would try to wrestle more. Yeah. In the first round, he took him down pretty easy, and he never went back to it again. So that was really surprising for me.
Yeah, they both were eating each other's punches, too. So that was another thing that didn't happen in the first one when Stipe got knocked out. Same with the second one when Stipe caught Cormier with a good right hand. But now this third one, they were eating each other's punches. It was a very good back and forth fight. I said, how do you see them ranking in that division all time now? Is Stipe your number one, or is Cormier still?
I think in terms of heavyweight, Stipe has to be number one, because if you think about it, he got knocked out, lost his title, came back and reclaimed the title, and then did it again. So I think you have to give him that, and he beat Francis Ngannou, who no one wants to fight. So you have to give it to Stipe right now.
Yeah, definitely.
So DC's come out and said, he really doesn't want to fight unless it's for a title, but he's not really in the position to call the shots now. What do you think's next? Is he done? You think Dana's going to give him another shot here in the future, Jake? What are you seeing for that?
No, he says he's 100% done. So I can't really see a world where he does get a title shot. So I think he's done.
All right. So moving on, UFC 252, Marlon Vera, Sean O'Malley. That was a much anticipated fight that was kind of over from kind of the beginning with the freak injury. What do you make of that? What's next for Sean O'Malley? He was undefeated going into that fight versus kind of a journeyman guy. 16-6, Marlon Vera. What's next for Sugar?
Well, Matt, I have to kind of correct you. There wasn't an injury. There just wasn't.
Yep. It looked like it. It looked like it.
Right.
Like it maybe just a tendon, like it got a little shocked. But yeah, go ahead.
No, it's called drop foot. When you get kicked in a certain nerve in the back of your knee, it shuts off your foot. And this has been a random thing that's been occurring in MMA as of the last few years, because people are starting to do more calf kicking, where they're kicking you in the calf instead of the thigh, and it hits this nerve and completely shuts your foot off. And that's what happened to Sean. And everyone thought that he broke his ankle or broke his leg, but there was absolutely no injuries to him. And so it wasn't more of a freak injury as it was a well-placed kick by Marlon Vera. And no one wants to give him credit for it, but I do, because if you pay attention, you can see that he did land a kick on the back of Sean's leg, and it shut Sean's foot down. So what's next for the Sugar? I think he just needs to quiet down with all of his hype, and I think he just needs to get focused again and start winning. And I believe I just heard that Marlon Vera is going to fight Jose Aldo. So that's an awesome fight for him.
It is an awesome fight. I mean, coming off that prestigious of a win, especially on a up-and-coming fighter like Sean O'Malley, and put the stamp on it like he did. Now you get to face an all-time great in Aldo. So, moving on. One of the best fighters, of what, ever, almost give him that nod yet in Israel Adesanya. I mean, he destroyed Paulo Costa, and he is just teeing off on everybody. His footwork, his handiwork, he take you to the ground. He's doing just a little bit of everything, and it's so fast and it's so precise. One thing I did see about the fight afterwards was Costa came out and said something happened before the fight and he lost it. It was like, again, we don't want to hear that. We just want you to go in and fight. Any thoughts on that fight or what's next for Adesanya?
Yeah, I'm not ready to call him the greatest of all time yet.
No,
the skill is definitely there, because before he came to MMA, he's fought over 100 times kickboxing, and I think he's had some pro boxing fights as well. But I still think there's people out there that can beat him, and until he proves that he can beat those people, aka one being Darren Till, they're very similar when it comes to kickboxing.
The length is there.
Yes, I think they're on a collision course. I really want to see him fight John Bones Jones, and we'll see who the best is. So if he beats those two people, I think he is the best.
Yeah, I really wanted. That was my next question for you. With that is Bones Jones and him going at it over Twitter, Instagram,
super
whatever.
petty on Twitter.
But it's great. It's like it's what gets the fans and the UFC excited, and
Yeah.
I think now Dana's going to have that pressure on him to make that fight happen. And if that fight does happen, that might be the most highly anticipated fight since
the biggest of all time.
All time. Like,
Yeah.
what would you say it would compare to?
It would be bigger than Khabib McGregor.
Jeez, yeah. I mean,
it would be.
Yeah, I mean that Jones considers himself one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time. But with all the black marks on his career, it's kind of hard to give him that nod. But you can't deny the talent, and to go up against a young guy like Adesanya and a hungry guy like him, he wants to prove it. I think Dana will make that fight happen. I think that will probably be a summer blockbuster or next fall.
I think saying July 4th, 2021 would be the smart thing. I think they want to wait until this COVID stuff is over so they can pack an arena.
Yeah, I mean, it would sell out in 10 minutes, if that.
Yeah, but all that could be, gone if Adesanya fights, let's say, Robert Whittaker again, and because that was a really close fight before Robert Whittaker got knocked out. It was actually pretty back and forth, but all that could be done for if he loses. So
yeah,
we'll see.
And moving on now to one of the biggest fighters that were up and coming fighters, in Brian Ortega. Then he lost to Max Holloway, and kind of like it kind of was like an ugly loss for him. He rededicated himself. He looked like a different man against the Korean Zombie. What did you see in that fight that really made you see a change in him? And is he ready to fight Volkanovski, do you think?
I didn't think he was going to strike like he was striking. If you know anything about Brian Ortega, he's jiu-jitsu. They call him T-City for Triangle City. That's what it stands for. But he changed his camp after the Holloway fight. Obviously, they started refining his striking a little bit more. And when he hit him with that spinning back elbow, that was when I knew, like, holy crap, he's completely different. He's completely different now. So, is he ready for Volkanovski?
Or do you think there's got to be one more in there and then give him the title shot?
It's really hard to say because although we watched him fight the Korean Zombie, Volkanovski is a different type of striker than Korean Zombie is. So Volkanovski is more up in your face and pressure, whereas Korean Zombie is more, I'm going to stand and hit you with some power. So it's very different. I think he could be ready if it goes to the ground. I think Ortega has the advantage on that. So, yeah, he might be ready for Volkanovski.
Or would you like to see him get that rematch with Max Holloway first? I think that.
I don't want to see that. I think Max beats the Korean Zombie 10 times out of 10 times, and I think Max beats Ortega 10 times out of 10 times on the feet.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready for that yet.
All right, Jake. Conor McGregor, he's still one of the bigger names in all of sports right now, more so for his mouth than any results he's had in the past year or so. Him and Dustin Poirier, I know they're kind of wanting to wait until, again, this kind of seems to be the theme, all this COVID is over. They want to fight at Jerry World. If and when that fight happens, what are you thinking about that?
I think it's very different from the first time. Everybody always wants to look back to the first time they fought when Conor knocked out Dustin. It wasn't a brutal knockout. It was more of what you call a flash knockout, where he loses his legs and then he comes back right away. But they called the fight instantly. That was also at 145 pounds. And if you know anything about weight cutting, it takes a lot out of you. You're not hydrated. You're not anything. This next one's coming in at 170, where they're both going to be fully fed and fully hydrated. And not to mention, they both grown as fighters. So I think this next one's going to be very, very interesting in terms of striking chess match. I think Dustin has been studying Conor ever since he lost because he knew he was going to fight him again. So I don't know. Right now, I just have it as, and I don't know. It could be a stalemate, or it could be just a crazy barn burner like a Tony Ferguson fight or something like that, you know?
And I have one more thing for you here, Jake, kind of off the topic from everything we've been talking about. I'm going to put you on the spot here. If there is one current athlete who could transition into an MMA fighter, who would that person be, and what about them do you think would make them successful?
That's a very good question, because
there's
a lot of aspects that play into MMA, you know? So if you think about the anatomy of a basketball player, let's just go with Giannis right now. Think of how tall he is and how much reach he would have. If you train him for a solid year on kickboxing, I don't think anyone could ever touch him, because he's just so rangy and so long, you know? But now let's think of like, name any NFL linebacker.
I was gonna say, if you asked me that question, I would probably say Aaron Donald.
Yeah, so
that man is
heavyweight.
Freak.
Well,
yes.
Take Greg Hardy for example. He wasn't even really that big of a prominent NFL player, right? He was, but he wasn't. And then he comes over to the UFC, and then he's knocking guys out. Granted, they're inexperienced guys, but like, you know what I mean. Yeah. So let's say you take Ray Lewis in his prime and put him in the UFC cage and teach him a few things. I think he would be an absolute animal. So I don't know, man. I think any basketball player who is long and lanky, or any football player who's short, stocky, with a lot of power could do damage in the UFC.
The reason why I would probably pick Aaron Donald, because I know he trains with like some knife fighter or something, combat. Hands. Like they do all these like this guy is literally trying to stab him with real knives, and he is like, it's insane. Go and watch that, and you actually see him like attempting to like stab him, and he's got to hit him all the way, and it's impressive to watch. That's why
he's more than just some big strong dummy.
Yeah. I do have to add real quick. They would probably have to train for a year or a year and a half before they hit the octagon, because I don't care how big and strong you are, if you step in the octagon in the UFC, you're gonna get hosed up if you don't know what you're doing. So
look at Mr. CM Punk and what he did.
Right.
But the final big fight that I see of the year, or the biggest fight of the year anyways, Khabib Nurmagomedov, or however you say his last name, and Justin Gaethje. What are you watching for this fight? I know you predicted Gaethje would pull an upset. Are you still riding that, or has anything changed in what you've seen from or heard from the camps?
Well, I'm a big Khabib fan because of his style. I know it's boring to casuals, but I love what he does, and I'm so interested in what he does. With that being said, Justin knows Khabib's style as well. And what does Justin Gaethje do better than anyone? He creates violence on the feet, and he lands really hard leg kicks. Now, I know to the naked eye that doesn't seem like a lot, but think about it. If you're trying to tackle someone in football, but you just got smacked in the leg about 20 times with a baseball bat, think about how much power you would have trying to take them down. It's going to hurt really bad for you just to try to take them down, because your leg is going to be so badly damaged. That's very similar to what it's like getting kicked in the leg by a guy like Justin Gaethje. So I think if he can hit him like 5 or 10 times in the leg with really hard leg kicks, I think Khabib's going to have trouble taking him down. And if that's the case, I think Justin Gaethje is going to win. Now,
indecision, or
I think he's going to knock Khabib out if Khabib cannot take him down.
Matt, are we betting? Are we betting this week on Gaethje to knock out Khabib? Maybe.
I don't know. It sounds like Jake's trying to split it down the middle and give himself a what if situation. We need a solid answer out of here.
I'm giving a what if situation because predictions in MMA are very hard.
Yes.
And I'm saying if Khabib cannot get Justin down, Justin's going to knock him out. Mark my words. But if Khabib gets Justin down and he's remarkably good at holding people down, Justin's going to have a very long night. So
Yeah, I think Gaethje's a lot stronger on the ground than Connor was. I mean, Connor doesn't have a very good back game, but Gaethje can control himself and control the opponent as well. So, like you said, I mean, if he can't get him down, it could be a long night for Khabib. So maybe we throw a little Jock Talk bet on the Gaethje knockout. Win some money here.
Okay, so let's do this. If Justin does knock him out, you have to pick the round in which it's going to happen in. Let's do that. How about that? I'm going to say 4th round knockout for Justin.
I'll go third because like you said, if he hits those leg kicks early in the first round and then kind of toy with him the rest of that round and kind of feel him out the second round, I feel like Khabib's going to be knocked out cold in the third. Matt, what you got?
Being the only person on this podcast who has ever been personally choked into sleep by Jake Sussek here, just going first round, just going all or nothing. First round.
Okay. I like it. I like that.
It's a bold move, but in these kind of fights, we see the unthinkable. Like when Conor Aldo, who thought it was going to be a 8-second fight? Nobody. I mean, there's
Ben Askren and Jorge Masvidal
thought it was going to be a bloodbath. 2 seconds. I mean, even Silva Weidman. Silva's just holding that head out there. You never know. I mean, a freak injury too. Even a freak injury, like again with Silva, like snapping his leg in half. I mean, you don't know. The UFC is so unpredictable that you never know what's going to happen. So I mean, with that bet, Matt, I think you throw a little $5 bet on knockout by Gaethje in the first round, you might win some money.
Yep. It's got to have huge odds to it, I would imagine.
Oh, I bet, because everyone's picking Khabib to win, I feel like.
Everybody's picking Khabib to win. And honestly, it's probably the safer bet to pick Khabib because it's more probable that Khabib gets him down and beats him up and chokes him out. However, if you want to be fun and throw a bet on it, you should bet Justin's going to knock him out because of all the information that I've given you so far. It could definitely happen.
Speaking of knockouts, Jake, we've seen one of the craziest knockouts of the year, if not all time. Where does it rank? That what would you call it? Catching spin back kick to the knockout as like
I call it what you see in the movies. You know, where someone catches someone's leg and then kick them with the other leg. It's like it's a movie scene knockout. But here's something funny. I don't think it's the best of all time.
I think it's one of the craziest ones we've seen in a while.
Do you remember the Korean Zombie versus Yair Rodriguez? If you don't remember it, look it up. So it's a high-profile fight. They're fighting for the number 1 contender spot in the 145-pound division, okay? It's the end of either the 3rd or the 5th round. It's the final round of the fight. In the final seconds at that. And the Korean Zombie rushes in, and Yair ducks and throws his elbow up behind him and knocks the Korean Zombie out cold at the horn.
I do remember that.
And the fight's over. So he wins with 1 second left in the fight. That to me is the greatest knockout of all time. You guys got to watch it if you don't remember it.
All right, we'll have to post that in the description so you guys can go check it out. Now to one of our favorite segments of the week.
Sweeping America.
Top 5. And this week on our top 5, we are kind of keeping it with the Halloween theme. We're going top 5 candy. Drake, being our guest, how about you kick us off with your number 5?
Okay, hold on. Halloween candy or just regular candy?
Regular candy. I don't care if it's a candy bar, anything, whatever you want, you name it.
Okay, so I think number 5 would have to be like Tutti Fruttis or something. You remember those little?
I do
underrated.
There was a couple that were like really good. We always had them at the pool.
The strawberry ones. God, those were so good.
They were good. Matt, what's your 5?
Whoppers. I know a lot of people don't like them. Some people don't like the texture.
I get it,
just whoppers.
They're they're a very interesting candy. I think they're acquired taste because I like them, but then again, I don't.
Are those like chocolate covered gobstoppers? What the hell's a Whopper, Matt?
Those are like the malt milk balls. Come on, they come in like the tub.
The carton.
Okay. I should let the viewers know I don't have a sweet tooth, so I'm not like well versed on candies.
my number 5, Reese's Pieces or
That's
Reese's Pieces.
Really?
Yes.
I love controversial, bro.
What? Oh, that must. Matt don't like them. Jake loves them. Let's see. What's your number 4, Jake?
Number 4, I'm gonna go with banana Laffy Taffy.
Oh, he went specific.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of those ones. But I don't like banana flavored much things. Like I like bananas. I don't like banana bread. I don't like.
Dude, but Laffy Taffy though.
I'll eat them if they're the only thing there. But Matt, what you got?
I don't like Reese's Pieces. They're overrated. They're trying to get creative and original and just think of something they don't need to do. Just straight up Reese's. Just the cups, not the pieces.
So he's a cup guy.
Do you eat them frozen?
All of the above.
Okay.
There's no wrong way.
All right. Melted.
Hey, I have a story that'll change your thoughts on the cups forever.
God. Oh God.
Viewer discretion advised.
Oh God.
So I had a chocolate lab when I was growing up, and it was a female, right? And obviously, females have their times of the month. And my brother and I had these.
Don't we know it?
My brother and I had these Reese's cups sitting next to us on the couch as we were playing video games. And she came up and sat between us on those Reese's cups. And Brock already knows what I'm getting at. What happened when she got up was we had a new flavor of Reese's cups, bro.
Oh, did you eat them?
No, we didn't.
Okay, God. All right. I thought we were getting into the viewer discretion advised part where you actually ate them on accident. Oh. That is a classic Jake Sussek story.
Yep.
Leave it to him to ruin a candy. But my number 4, I'm going 100 grand. I love those things. Love them.
I like that. All right. I can
3,
jive with that. Number 3, it's only fitting to go with the Three Musketeers.
Yeah, I don't like those. The toffee. It's the toffee. It's like them and Milky Ways. Like I do not like them.
Toffee.
It's so fluffy inside. The chocolate inside. It's so fluffy.
I think, you know what I think it was? I had them a lot as a kid and just was like, no, I don't want them anymore.
They're good. I like them. Matt likes them too, I think.
I don't, it's not like, you know, when I'm going to Quick Trip, Brock, you're missing out, by the way, Quick Trip, shout out. It's not what I'm selecting when I'm going to the candy section, but, you know, if someone offers me a Three Musketeers, you know, can't be rude.
No,
but,
if your mother comes biking down to the dugout with a Three Musketeers, you'll eat it.
Damn right.
You better believe it.
My number 3, Snickers. Just you know, there's nothing not to like about Snickers.
Dude,
it's a classic.
Low on the list, bro.
Oh, my top 2 are going to be quite controversial here. Sus.
All right.
Geez. See, I like Snickers,
Raisins.
but it's I like Snickers, but it doesn't crack my top 5. They're close. But my number 3, Kit Kat. Love me a good Kit Kat. Love me a good Kit Kat.
I forgot about Kit Kats. Now
you're getting me off.
You're going down the hole now.
Right. All right, Jake. Let's give us your top 2 now.
Dude, you have me thinking about Kit Kats now. That's all I can think of.
You got the white chocolate ones too.
I don't know if these count, but I really like them. So I'm gonna go with your conventional double stuffed Oreos.
I'll let that slide as a candy.
I mean, what would you classify it as? A cookie?
Cookie.
Maybe?
Yeah, a cookie. A cookie, but
Well, shit.
It's got enough sugar in it.
Just put a Kit Kat there. You know you wanted to. You want a Kit Kat at 2.
All right, we'll go / Kit Kat. I do like Kit Kats a good amount. So Oreo / Kit Kat.
Wow.
My number
Kat
2,
Oreo, bro.
Bit-O Honeys.
What?
Bit-O Honey. They are
those
these
the honey straws?
No, they're geez, guys, come on now.
Never...
Brock, you can talk about your number 2, and I'll bring up a picture of them.
So my number 2, just a classic baseball player, practically, Baby Ruth.
I thought you were going with Big League Chew. I thought you were going to go with Big League Chew.
No, I see. I don't like Big League Chew. I think it's just I like it in only baseball season. I'll say that. That's them and sunflower seeds. I only eat during baseball season, but that's all I eat in that. What the? You like those?
Bro,
they're delicious.
I don't like those.
Those are worse than candy corn, dude.
Oh, that's his number 1. I bet that's his.
It's not my number 1, but it's on my honorable mentions list, Jake.
Candy corn is my number 1 worst candy of all time. I freaking hate candy corn.
They're terrible.
The worst candy of all time, let's be real, is black licorice.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Wow, dude.
Hey, that's Jake's number 1. Jeez.
I sure hope not, Jake.
Jake, what's your number 1? Black licorice.
Well, in the interest of not mentioning a candy that's already been mentioned for my number 1, because I was gonna go with Snickers. I really do love Snickers.
That is it's a solid candy.
It didn't even make your top 5, Brock. Quit saving face.
I carry Snickers whenever I go out in the woods because they're nutritious. I like them, but I'm gonna go with your plain old original Jolly Ranchers.
I do like that. What's your favorite one though?
The watermelon.
Okay, I can deal with that one. Blue raspberry is probably my favorite. Yes. Or grape. I love the blue raspberry and grape. Those are they're so all simple. Good though.
They've been around for since the beginning of time, but everyone likes them.
Matt,
my number 1 is a tie. Any sour candy, but Warheads / the Crybaby bubblegum. Anything sour is.
Warheads are not that controversial. They do taste good after you get.
They do taste good. The extreme, they are good. I wouldn't put them in my top 5 just because I don't like discomfort when I eat it. That's just me.
You like spicy food though, bro.
I know, but I don't like it to taste good.
What's the most sour one though? Warhead. What's the most sour one?
It's like the black package one was double sour.
I always thought it was the green apple flavor was the most sour one to me.
They were good though.
Yeah.
After you got past the sour, they were tremendous. Yeah.
You can only eat 3 or 4 of them before your tongue starts to feel raw.
Yeah, before it falls off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how everybody.
What we got, Brock?
My number 1 candy of all time is the Twix. The Twix. I love the Twix. Right Twix only, if you know what I mean.
I didn't expect that, bro. I didn't expect
something about it. I don't know what it is. It's so simple. Caramel.
I'll give you that. It is good.
Toffee, or not toffee, but
chocolate?
I don't even. They got like graham cracker or whatever the shit is.
The
wafer. Yeah, it just you have you have those in ice cream form too. I'll eat that whole box.
Going back to MMA a little bit, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I voluntarily, Jake, I'm sure you do remember. I don't know how many times in your life you've had someone let you voluntarily choke them into sleep. Not once, but twice in a random hotel room in Milwaukee.
Surprised you remember that, Matt.
I remember that, Matt. Of course. I've choked out. How many people have I choked out in my life? I think I'm in the double digits. And
willingly?
You're one of the one willingly, the other 9 not. Anyways, fun fact, in all my years of grappling, I've never been choked out ever. Never.
Never wanted to either.
Never wanted to.
It is quite the feeling. Like 1 second, like you're just there, and we had 8 people around us. I'm just like laughing and smiling, and all of a sudden, like my eyes go dark, and then they tell me like I was asleep for like a minute. I was like, nah. It's like all of a sudden everything went black, and then it was.
I've been on the brink where the light was starting to fade, and then I get out of it. So I've been on the brink. I know what you mean, but I haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
So, Jake, why don't you want to be choked out? Would you, or not? Why don't you want to be choked out? But, would you tap out before you pass out?
If I was in a fight, I would definitely go until I pass out. Like if I was either in the cage or on the street, if I was in a struggle for my life, I would fight until I pass out. Okay. But in the training room, it's not necessarily good because it's kind of like getting knocked out. When you get knocked out multiple times, I'm not talking about once or twice, but like 10 times, your body's more susceptible to it. So you get knocked out easier. And the same thing goes for choking. Your body gets used to it. Like your body's like, oh, I know what to do here. I'm going to be choked out easier. And I'm not talking about like
that explains a lot.
You have to do it like you have to do it like multiple times before your body gets used to it. But
yeah,
that's why in training I don't let it go that far. But I have in a fight I have been pretty close, but I get out of it. So.
All right. Well, Jake, I think that does it for this episode of Jock Talk. If you haven't already, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow us there.
Wait, no, not that one.
Whoa. I mean, if you're there, hey, go check out. They call him Jake the Snake on the P Hub. Go check him out. We're getting this man some money on the P Hub. All right, guys. All right. Have a good rest of your week. Peace out.